Hello everyone, I wanted to make a quick video to show you an alternative for choice eliminator. I saw there were several questions about this, and I think it would be easier for me to record a solution as opposed to trying to post it somewhere or put it in an email. So hopefully this will help some of you who are trying to use some sort of option or some solution for choice eliminator. I do currently use a more hard-coded one, so I kind of go into the app script to write that, but there are options to do that without having to go into the Google App Script to do that, and I want to show that to you real quick. So I ran into this about a year or two ago, and what I decided to do is I leveraged some spreadsheet setup as well as the add-on Form Ranger to get this set up, and it kind of performs the same function that Choice Eliminator did. So what I did was I just made a mock form here. So this is a volunteer sign-up form that you just can complete, and they can go in here and post whatever they want in here. And let me go in here and adjust something because I did just do it one time, and I removed it so I could demonstrate it for you. So let me go back here and adjust this real quick. And I'm going to add these choices in here. Okay, so here's the form with the choices that are available for people to fill out. And what I do is in my spreadsheet, I've already filled this out several times. So when I go here to form responses, you'll see all of the submissions that I've already gone through. So what I do is I create a second sheet here called form choices. You can call it whatever you like. It doesn't have to be that, but that's just what I called it. And I created 4 different columns. So I have an options column. My options columns list all of the unique options in the form. So all these options that are listed here, those are the options I also list in this options column. Next, I have a threshold columns. My threshold column is the number of times a user or users can select that item before that item is removed from the form. So right now I have 6. This is just entered in. Those can be different for each one, but this is where you can set that up here. The next one is where I'm going to do some use some functions to set these last 2 up. The next one is a count. The count is going to be a count if function that's going to tell me how many times the cafeteria duty appears in or was selected in this column of the spreadsheet. And I'm going to copy that formula down for the rest of them. So it's just a count if function. So I'm going to choose equals, and I'm going to do count if, and then I'm going to select the range. So I'm going to go over here to forms response 1, and I'm going to choose my column D column. I'm just going to go part of the way, and I'm going to remove that last column so that it goes all the way down to that. So now we're looking for that entire range of from D2 all the way down to the rest of column D. I'm going to put some anchors in there. So I'm going to put the $ in front of the D and the 2. And I'm going to go back down here to the end. I'm going to choose comma. So now my form is going to look just in that range. And now I got to tell it what to look for. So we're going to count if cafeteria duty shows. I'm going to close it. And you'll see there it appears twice. I'm going to copy that down. And there you go. So the key thing here is to make sure you have the range. When you do the range, make sure you use the anchors. If you don't do the anchors, when you copy the formula down, the range will adjust. So instead of this one being D2 through D, it'll say D3 through D, and the next one will say D4 through D. So that's why the anchors are important. So make sure that you include those in there. But you can always go back here, and if you want to do a quick check of how accurate these are, I can go in here and see my cafeteria duty was checked twice. So if I want to check the accuracy of it, cafeteria duty is there and there. My hall monitor is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and the count there is right. So we're good to go there. This last item is the last column, is the items to appear on the form. So this is everything that I want the form to show. And what I'm going to do for that is I'm going to write an if statement that says if my count is less than my threshold, then I want that item to appear in the form. And if it doesn't, if this count is equal to or greater than my threshold, I don't want it to appear in the form. So I want this to be blank. So I'm going to write my if statement to show that. So I'm going to say equals if, click on that. And I'm going to say if my count is less than my threshold, and that's my criteria, that's my condition. I'm going to say comma. Now, if that's true, I want cafeteria duty to display. If it's not true, I want it to be blank. And the way I can display that here is I can just put 2 quotation marks. And then I'm going to close parentheses and there it is there. And now you'll see it'll copy that down for the rest of them. And then so it's checking for all of these things. So right now, all of these things will display. Just to do a quick check to show you how it would work. Let's say this threshold, instead of 6, it was 5. If I click to move this down to 5, now you'll see that goes away. And so now we're going to set this up so that the form is going to pull from this column. And if this option is blank, it will not display in the form. I'm going to move this back to 6 so we can do that. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go back to the form and we're going to use a add-on called Form Ranger to set this up. So I'm going to click on the form, and down here in the form, I'm going to go over here to my add-ons and I'm going to select Form Ranger. Once that opens, I'm going to click Start. And the Form Ranger will run over here on the side. So the first thing it's going to do is you'll see the question list. You want to make sure that you choose the correct question. I want to do this for the volunteer option. So I'm going to click on volunteer option. I'm going to check the box that says populate from a range. And since this is my first time using it, I'm going to click this plus sign to add a brand new one. This is going to search for spreadsheets that I want to pull from. And so I'm going to choose volunteer sign up. And it's going to pull all my sheets from that particular spreadsheet. So the information that I wanted to pull from is that form choices one that I made. And then it's going to give me all the columns from that sheet. And I wanted to pull from the items to appear on form. That's the one that I wanted to use. And so when I select that, I'm going to then choose next. It's going to ask me to give this a name. I'm going to choose this save and populate option. Form Ranger will run, and then you'll see that it will display there. You want to make sure that this on form submit, the auto repopulate questions is selected. When you initially see this, this will be turned off. So you want to make sure that you turn it on. So this is set it up so that this will run every time a form is submitted. If you prefer to do it every hour, you can, but I would recommend doing the on form submit. And then I'm just going to choose update question list one more time, and then we should be good to go. All right, so now we can close this out. And everything will display properly because currently in our spreadsheet, we haven't met our threshold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill this out one more time and choose Hall Monitor so that we have met our threshold. So I'm going to go here and select this again. I'm going to choose Hall Monitor. And I'm going to choose Submit. And there it goes. So now if I go back to my spreadsheet, you will see my threshold has now been met and this option is empty. And so now if I were to go back here to fill this form out one more time, Hall Monitor should not display. So if I go down here and now look, there it is. It's no longer an option there. our threshold has now been met. So that's basically how I use some spreadsheet setup as well as Form Ranger to accomplish the same thing as Choice Eliminator. I hope that helps you get yours going so that you can start eliminating choices from your form.